you ever been looking for that perfect balance in your life? Do you find yourself out of whack some days and just can't seem to get it together? I'm going to teach you some tools today that you can take away with you and have a lot of fun with. We need more things in life every day, and 3 of the main trump cards we have are joy, laughter, and play. Think of them as being on a teeter-totter. When joy, laughter, and play are sitting on one side, it pushes fear, anger, and pain down on the other side. But what happens to joy, laughter, and play when we let fear, anger, and pain take over our day? So we're going to try to find our own balance. We need joy. Joy is something that we can get from each other, whether we come into the workplace, whether we're in our schools or in our volunteers, or even when we're in our workplace kitchens. There's a great place to hang out. Years ago, I worked in an office coffee business, and I got to go around and visit corporate kitchens. I can tell a lot from a corporate kitchen whether or not it's a fun place to work in or not, by the signage that's on the walls, by the banter and the talk that comes into the staff room. I also can take a look and see some of the notes that are up on the walls and some of the jokes that are there to help people to relieve a little bit of stress. We come to the coffee room sometimes to blow off steam, sometimes just to chit-chat with each other. And one of the things I noticed was people were feeling a lot of stress at work, and some places more stress than others. So how do we reduce stress? Well, first of all, we allow ourselves to have more fun at work, whether it be in our boardroom meetings. Start off our weekly meetings by sharing each other's successes and good news stories of the fun things that happened to us in the last week. We could talk about the silly things that happened. Maybe they weren't fun to us, but maybe our coworkers thought it was quite funny. Maybe it's when we come home from work to share what we've done throughout our day, and maybe there's been a lot of stress, but maybe something funny happened to us on the way home from work. Some of you have been in my workshops before where I've given out your red noses. We call those road rage noses. You can shift a bad day at work to a good evening at home, or vice versa. Wear your red nose on the way home, put on some funky tunes, wave to everybody as you go by, pretend you're in a parade. I bet you'll lift their spirits too. One day I was driving down 12th Avenue here in downtown Calgary, and it was gridlocked. People were moving nowhere, and you could just see the tension building in the people around. I saw people on their cell phones and people peeking their heads out the windows. The stress was building, and all of a sudden I looked over at the car next to me, and there was a fellow sitting there with this great big smile on. He was tapping his steering wheel to some tunes, and he's wearing a clown nose that I had given him in one of my sessions earlier. He looked at me and he put his thumb up in the air, and he was feeling pretty excited because he saw me, and I happened to be in full clown that day when I was driving to somewhere. And he shows me his nose. I was very proud of one of my students wearing the nose out there, helping him to reduce stress. You can keep them in your pocket when you're going to visit somebody in the hospital. Sometimes our noses help us lighten up and have a little bit more fun. So I'm going to teach you some skills to let your inner clown come out and play today.